Hey, good evening, folks, and welcome to the Let's Go Fishing show. And as you can see, I've got Mike back with me again. I can't get anybody else to come over here, Mike.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dummies, huh?
Well, I don't know what the deal is. Nobody wants to come over. I don't know if that's a reflection on you or me.
Yeah, maybe you don't treat them right.
Well, I might not. I don't know. I thought I was treating you a lot better than you needed.
Well, probably are. I'm used to it.
Yeah, with Dad, yeah, Mike, I guarantee you. Hello, Dad. I've got Mike here with me, so you can rest easy for a little while. But he might show back up down there sometime after a while, so be prepared.
I told him you was going to teach him something tonight. He said you couldn't teach him a thing.
Oh, Lordy. I want to say hello to Bill and Polly. Bill, stay tuned. We got a lot going on, a lot of things we're going to bring up here tonight, and daggone it. I tell you, folks, our waters are getting polluted with the wrong things, and we're going to have to get some help here from TWRA and from these biologists and see what we can get going on. We got the James Jenkins and the Heartland weigh-in. We're going to show that tonight. I also got some smallmouth film, Mike.
Yeah.
We went Sunday night to Norris, and Mike had Scotty with him, and I had Brad and Wesley with me, and so we kind of got into them and then got out of them and then got back into them again. So had a pretty decent trip. Didn't do near the filming that I thought we did, but anyway, we're going to show the Jenkins weigh-in and the Heartland down there, talk to some of the winners and that kind of thing. I know Mike's just dying to tell you all what happened to me there Saturday.
No, I ain't saying a word.
Okay, good. I'll see how long that lasts. While Herschel's getting the film ready, I'm going to go ahead and tell you. About 9 or 9:30 there Saturday morning, I fell in the lake out of the back of my partner's boat. Been fishing for pretty much all my life, and it's the first time I've hit the water head first. I've come close several times, a lot of times really. But this time right here, I hit the water, and I just got off the phone talking to my wife. She was coming home from the hospital. I had her in the hospital the last few days, and she went in Friday, got back out Saturday afternoon. Then we had to go back in Wednesday morning. But anyway, she was. I'd called her there to see if she's getting to come home, and yeah, she was on her way home. So I stuck my cell phone in my pocket, and I'd been keeping it in the box on the boat. So let that be a lesson to us all. If you're carrying your cell phone, put it in a Ziploc bag, or if you got it in your pocket. But the best thing to do is put it in a Ziploc bag and put it in the boat, because once it gets in the water, you all know what happens to that.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I drowned in my phone and my billfold and all that stuff. Do what, Herschel? Oh, a sinker.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I could have used it for a sinker. Actually, that's a good idea. I hadn't thought about that. But, I jerked it, got it out of my pocket when I got back in the boat and took the battery out and put it out in the sun. And I've had it in a bag of rice all week. But everybody's laughed, including me, about me falling in. So I just thought I'd let y'all know that. I wasn't wearing my life jacket. I had it there in the seat. My partner said, when I came back to the surface, he asked, "Are you all right?" I said, "You need a life jacket." And I said, "No, take my rod." And because I was trying to swim one-handed and kick my leg. So anyway, Rick got my rod, and then I got up to the back of the boat and climbed up, put my foot up on the back of the engine, Mike, and just got right in the boat. That's the best way to do it, Dad. Because you get, as far as I'm concerned, best way to do it. So that worked out pretty good. But that was the lessons learned. You know, in the wintertime, it's over.
Yeah, yeah, you better teach.
Yeah, you know, there's just, you know, I don't know how you'd get in. All I had on was a pair of shorts and some tennis shoes and a shirt, and it was hard to get up in the boat with that on, you know, even with putting my foot on that engine mic. But yeah, I could imagine what it'd been like if I'd had that 50-pound of clothes on, them boots,
Yes,
and it cold. Just no telling. Yeah, chances would have been poor, and I would have had my life jacket on in cold weather. So that's a perfect reason, folks, to wear your life jacket. Definitely in cold weather, you know, which we have a bad habit when we're fishing these tournaments. We got our life jackets sitting in the seat. Rick puts his in his seat, and I put mine in mine. And the same way if we were in my boat, we just strip them off and stick them in the seats and go to fishing because they are hot.
they are.
You know, Mike, down there in that 75, 80, 85 degree weather and the sun shining on you, they do get a little warm. You know, but that's there again. You have a partner. Now, if you're by yourself, there's no need in taking a chance.
No.
You know, there's no need taking a chance. And I did hear on the news over the weekend an older gentleman, lost his boat. He was going to swim out to get it there on Douglas and didn't make it.
Yeah.
So even though we think we're in great shape, when you hit the water, it's a little different situation, Mike.
Sure is.
You know, it's a bad thing, you know, no doubt about it. So anyway, enough said about that. So, Dad, I got Mike over here with me. I'll try to hold on to him as long as I can, give you a chance to rest. And then I did say hello to Bill and Polly up there in Clinton. And I hear Gay's gone back to home, and we'll be back in a few weeks. Maybe me and Bill can get caught up on some fishing then. Herschel, are you ready to show us the film? I am. All right, sir. Please take us to the film then. Hey, folks, we're down here at the Rad Landing having the James Jenkins Memorial Tournament along with Heartland, and I've got Wayne Crabtree and his partner Joe here on camera, and so Miss Crabtree, I can prove that Wayne was here. All right, so it's good to see both of them, and we'll get out here and see what's going on. Folks, several of the boats done in the water down here this morning at the Heartland and James Jenkins Memorial Tournament. Got a big crowd, and we hope to come back in here about 3:30 and check out the weigh-in, see what's going on. Got more people coming in, parking lot full, so it's a big turnout down here today. So we'll see what's going on, and remember the sponsors on the Let's Go Fishing Show. Folks, we're here at the Heartland weigh-in, and a lot of people done weighed in. Looks like some good bags of fish coming in. We'll try to catch up some of these winners here directly.
I got him. Yeah, right. He's here.
Which and my partner had 16, 17. We'll see how that holds up.
Shallow or swallow. Here we go.
No. Yeah, we cold. I almost 3 minutes today, like you said. You know, it's just dadgummit. Yeah, couldn't get done good, you know. Not counting all the living on top.
I'll put one of them out, though. All right. Wilbur Curtis and Brad Graves, largemouth lunker with a 598. Brad Early and Deb S with a 416 smallmouth. Seventh place goes to Jack Dunaway and Bo Brown with 1653. Sixth place goes to Alan Gann and Alan Shelton with 1663. John Swallows and Gilbert Guerin, fifth place with 1665. Fourth place goes to Heath Snow and Dallas Davis with 1708. Good job. Third place, Kurt Hope and Chris Whitson with 1738. Second place goes to Lee Master and Zach Master with 1792. First place goes to John Robbins and Guy Daniels with 1996.
Hey folks, I got Liz Phelps here with me. Liz came down to the weigh-in here at the Heartland and James Jenkins Memorial Tournament, and she gave away a bunch of boat savers, sample bottles, and Liz, thank you for that.
Oh, you're very welcome. Enjoy it.
All right, and folks, let me tell you about this stuff. It works. If you don't have any, you need to get you some, spray your boat down. Takes care of the plastic, the fiberglass, and everything. It really works, Liz. Good product.
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
All right, Liz. Glad to see you again. Okay, hope to have you on the show here in a few weeks.
All right, then.
All right. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
All right. Folks, I got Lee Maisper and Zach Maisper in here that came in second today with a good bag of fish. How much weight do you guys have?
1792.
1792. Pretty good bag of fish considering the conditions and everything. Anything you want to tell the viewers about where you didn't catch them and what not to do?
What not to do?
Yeah.
Don't go top water.
Don't go deep.
Don't go deep.
Yeah.
Folks, that right there answered a whole lot of questions right there. So, you guys stayed up on this end of the lake, or did you go way down?
We ran everywhere.
Ran everywhere. Hey, that's
Stayed up in the Emory and up in the clean.
Emory and the Clinch, folks, and we appreciate that good information, guys. I don't want to pin you down, but, you know, anything you can help the fishermen, we appreciate it.
I need some help.
All right.
I need some.
Zach, congratulations, son.
Thank you.
Okay, man, your fish really good. We appreciate it. All right, man, we'll see you later. All right, folks, I'm here with the winners today. Got Guy Daniels and Johnny Robinson. Boys, tell us about the fishing trip.
Thank you all very much.
We caught fish all day. We was culling this morning by 9:30 or 10 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
We caught two good ones right off the bat on the spook.
Yeah.
Caught two on the spook and the rest of them come on the jig.
All right, man. Folks, that's just plain English right there. You know, you got to do it, don't you?
Yeah.
And I appreciate Guy sharing that information with us. Him and Johnny are notorious fishermen about fishing jigs and catching fish on them and win a lot of tournaments on them. So they can't go wrong with that, can you?
No, man, those you'll catch them.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, one other question. Did you all fish middle of the lake, lower end?
Lower end.
Lower end? All right.
Middle of the lake.
I was surprised to see this water muddy in here around Kingston.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's been muddy, I guess, for about a week.
Has it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's muddy.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you two guys. Thank you for good information.
Thank you.
All right. You're more than welcome.
We're out here next to the Narrows here.
Yes.
Coming out of Blue Springs. And,
Original.
yeah.
Okay, thank you, Herschel. All right, folks. You know, Mike, there were a lot of fish caught, but all of them was in that 14, 15, 16, 17 pound range, you know, and then Guy and Johnny came in there with about 19 pounds, I think.
Almost 20.
Yeah, 1931 or something like that. And then Lee and his son won the James Jenkins tournament with 1751 or something like that, you know. So, you know, two good bags of fish, but there was a lot of fish caught in that 14 to 16 pound range, you know. And so I was I know Rick and we caught three. I had the balance beams out and everything else, you know, trying to get, because we caught a lot of good keeper fish in that 2 pound range, just trying to pick up an ounce here and an ounce there, you know. So I thought the fish bit pretty good. We had our first limit there by, I guess, 8:30 or about 8:30. We had the fifth fish in the box and was culling the rest of the day. And 10 minutes after 3, I caught probably the biggest fish of the day. Culled out a pretty decent fish and put that one in the box. So we had 16 and almost 16 and a half pounds there, and 5 fish. That's 3 pound average. I'd take that's
Pretty good.
pretty good, Mike. Pretty good. You know, the fish on Watts Bar is coming on with it. But you know, we had a great time, had a big turnout, and all that kind of stuff. And it being Memorial Day weekend, we'll try it again next year.
Yeah, I want to say thanks to all those that come out and fished that tournament with us.
I do too. I want to thank Doug Presley taking care of the weigh-in for us, and for his tournament and the James Jenkins Memorial Tournament. You had how many boats in the
24.
24. All right. That sounds like a plan. Sounds good. As the parking lot was full that morning.
It sure was.
Yeah. It definitely for a fact. So, you know, like I said, we'll be looking forward to that again next year, and we'll see what Doug's schedule is, and we'll get the James Jenkins tournament scheduled up, and plan on doing it again next year. We got right quick. Let me tell you about this. You got the BASS. You know, I've probably saw it on the news or heard about it in the last few weeks. Is on Douglas. D. Wilson, a gentleman from up Campbell County. Mike and I have fished around D for years. Good fisherman. He's leading the tournament up there after the day. Had a little over 21 pounds, I think, Mike. So good luck to D. Hope he can hold on to that thing and win it. You know, with some stiff competition. According to the paper, I think Roland Martin was supposed to be in there, and a lot of the people that fish for a living. I wish we could, Mike.
Yeah, no doubt.
But anyway, congratulations to D, and hope he can hold on and win that thing. And then another thing we got going on down here at Chickamauga this weekend. Restoration tomorrow. The Tennessee High School Championship is on Chickamauga this weekend. And, you know, I'll tell you exactly what the deal is. A guy went down there, one of the they call them coaches, and that's the operator of the boat. And you have to have your coach there with you, and the two team members out of the high school club fish with their coach. He operates the boat and stuff, but he can't fish, so just like everything else. Well, anyway, this guy that's down there with two young high school guys, and his engine messed up, and he came all the way from Dayton to Reynolds Racing and Marine there in Harriman, and Glenn said they jumped right on it. Took them about 4 hours, but they got him fixed up and sent him back down the road, and he was tickled to death.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate Glenn, and he was tickled to get to do that, and that's just what I said the other week about how good the sponsors we've got for this show, and they're all good people and good business folks, and help you any way that they can. But that was a good thing for them to get that guy back on the water and get them high school kids ready to fish Saturday. But that's going to be a big thing down there Saturday on Chickamauga for sure. So we're going to go see Herschel. You want to? Dang on, Mike. Time's getting away from us.
Yeah.
What'd you catch your fish on Watts Bar?
Everything was on a brush hog.
Everything on a brush hog.
Yeah. Jeff had a hold of a real good fish. I think it's 6 or 7 pound. Broke him off right next to the boat on a crankbait.
Rick and I caught a few fish on a crankbait. We caught some fish on a brush hog. Caught a couple of fish on the top water.
Yeah.
And just a little bit of everything, and just depend on what you were doing at the time. And caught a good fish on a couple of good fish on a swim bait. Caught a couple of good fish on a spinner bait down there Saturday. So it was just a mixture of anything and everything. The key to it was getting on the right spot.
It seemed like no matter what you throwed, eventually you'd get a strike on it.
Oh yeah, I agree with that, Mike. Yeah, definitely for a fact. I had a spinner bait on one rod, was pitching a brush hog on another rod, and had the crankbait on another rod, and when I say crank, it was a shallow running crankbait. One of them runs about 3 to 5 foot deep.
Yeah.
And several of the strikes, I guarantee you, I didn't crank that thing twice, and he was on it when he throw it over on the bank, close to the bank, so you wouldn't get it just get it started, and there'd be one on it already. But we never had what you might, shucks. Rick caught a keeper smallmouth, weighed 3-something, and we were sitting in 8 foot of water, but that dang fish, his bait couldn't have been more than a couple of foot deep.
Yeah.
And threw it in there in 3 foot of water, and before it got back to the boat, why, he had the fish on. So even the smallmouth was up shallow there Saturday, Mike.
Yeah, the first one I caught was a smallmouth, and he was about 3 foot deep there. About, I don't know, 10 minutes into the fishing there on that point, and caught that smallmouth. And, had several strikes there, but never did catch nothing else off that point. But that smallmouth hit first thing.
Yeah. Okay. What we're going to do, what I wanted to talk about was a couple of things. The first thing was some jigs. We got these little old hair flies. Dump that bag of stuff out here, Mike. Let me see what I got in there. I throwed a bunch of stuff together. Yeah, here we go.
Did you get Wesley's fishing stuff?
Yeah, I got Wesley's fishing stuff.
Okay.
Mike, I sure did. Yeah, without a doubt. Let me straighten some of this up. Herschel's fixing to put the camera on us. Folks, what I wanted to show you here, the difference between these weed guards in these jigs. And this one right here is a North Lake favorite. I mean, that's a Paul Harris deal. And as you can see, they don't have a weed guard in them. That doesn't bother me in the least. You might hang that thing up a few times, but man, I tell you, it doesn't hang up much, Mike. And I'm going to lay these down, and that's a black and a brown and orange. And with them two colors right there, which Wesley likes, that chartreuse and blue,
yeah,
you can't go wrong. Now, I'm going to pick up another jig here, and it's what we call a peanut head. And as you can see, that weed guard in that thing, there's, I think, 3 strands.
3 or 4 little old strands.
3 or 4 little old strands of weed guard in that head. That there's got 3 in it, Mike. Mm-hmm. And as you can see, it doesn't take a lot of pressure to put that thing down past the hook right here. Now, what I like about this right here is when it does keep that thing from hanging to some extent. But the big thing I like about it, Mike, is when you get that lip of that fish down in behind that, get that hook through his lip, this right here keeps him from throwing that thing a whole lot.
It does.
It's just like it just comes out over the outside of his mouth there, and then, he's down in here with his, where you've hooked him at, and he has a harder time shaking it.
Sure does.
When he's up there breaking water and stuff. So that's kind of a deal there. And then, and the reason I'm saying that, because that's a casting jig. You don't want to throw that in a brush pile or a treetop, because you're more likely going to get hung up. Now, you take a jig like this, even though that's a ½ ounce, you see all the, I'd say there's probably 16 or 18 fibers in that right there. And what you want to do, if you can rub your hand over that, or the weight of that jig head, and not push it down past the hook, then that's a pretty good flipping jig. So, that's the heavier that weed guard is, the least likely you're going to hang up, and that's why we go from what we call a casting jig to a flipping jig. Mike, you agree with that?
Oh yeah, and a little bit lighter. So
and then here,
both with it.
Here's one that's a 3/8 head, and I've kind of cut some of the fibers out of it, and I'll do that. You know, if I'm going to cast this of a night or during the day, you know, without, like Norse, you know, you don't find a lot of trees and stuff up there, Mike. It's kind of more like bringing it over. You know, I'll come underneath here with my knife and trim a lot of these fibers out of this jig, you know, because, you know, right now you could throw that thing in the brush pile and it's got so much, you know, right here, this mashing that down past that bar or that point of that hook, take a lot of pressure. You know, it'll float the jig up, in other words. Basically, is what if it'll hold that jig up, if it, you know, the weight of that head mashing down on that guard, if it keeps it from hanging, then that's kind of what we'd want to flip with. Now, this right here is more of a casting jig. Now, you could flip with that, but I like to cast with it. And Mike, get me one of those football-headed jigs out of that bag over there. You know, this is borderline right here. This coming down here like this. You know, if you pull that up over a limb, that's pretty decent. You know, for a flipping jig, right there. With that much, as heavy as that head is, that's about a 3/4 head, 5/8 or 3/4. And you know, as you can see, you can bring it through there, and that hook will never come through there. So that's a pretty good flipping jig. Now right here is what I call a casting jig. And that's, you know, I don't try to flip with that. I throw that out there on a point in open water and fish it out deep. Now you know, because it stands up like this basically, and that weed guard is real flexible, Mike. I think it's a lot finer than the other weed guards on the jig. So the reason I'm bringing this to your attention, if you're going to do some flipping and pitching with a jig, then you need to get you one that's capable of, and as you can see, I've been working on this one here. I kind of like to take and bend those ends down, turn them down kind of like, you know, as much as possible, because I've always felt like that if they were sticking straight up like this, when the fish sucked that in and it stuck him, he wanted to spit it back out. You know, I've never been underwater and seen that happen, but I always felt like that. And then I wanted it to clear that hook real easy too.
Yep.
You know, I didn't want to take a whole lot of pressure to clear that hook, so kind of, you know, fool with it a little bit myself and fix it to suit myself.
Some of them try to spread it out into a Y.
They will.
Some of them will clip it off on an angle to make it match the hook.
Yeah.
Some cut it off shorter to make it. You thin them out, cutting underneath it.
Yeah.
And stuff. But,
you know, you spread that out like that, and it clears that hook point a little better. Like he said, make a Y. I should have a Y guard jig in there somewhere, Mike. See if you can find us one. This is all brush guard stuff here.
Grabbing them with the needle nose and rolling it over like you've done that there, it helps them a lot too.
Yeah, now them's all, you will have to get in one of them boxes there to find a Y guard. Probably in this front box right here may have a extra hook, but I want to show them that right there too. But you know, if you're going to go out there and set in 20, 30 feet of water and cast a big heavy jig, you know, you need I would hunt something with a little less weed guard in it. Now, if you're going to pull in there in 3 to 4 foot of water and you're going to pitch that thing back in a jungle, what we call a jungle, in a treetop or a honeysuckle bush or something like that, then you need to get you something that's got pretty good weed guard in it and keep you from getting hung up. That'll support the weight of the jig and that kind of thing. So, you know, keep that in mind of what you're going to do with these jigs. You know, if you, like Norse and places, and here's a Y guard. as you can see, it's a Y, and they're good, pretty good flipping jigs. Those right there are. Don't see a lot of them anymore, Mike. You know, everything's pretty much what you buy is brush guards.
Well, I ain't had time to pour up none
Oh,
in several years.
Is that why I don't see any more of them?
Yeah, you used to rob them all the time.
Oh,
brother.
okay. All right. I wondered what happened to them, how I was getting all of them. But anyway, you probably ought to fix it some of them, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But that's a difference, you know, between the two. You got the brush and you got the Y guard, and different applications, what you want to do with them. Like I say, if you're fishing out in open water, shoot, if I could get by with it, I'd have that right there. I wouldn't, you know, need a guard in it. But you definitely want to match the weed guard with the structure that you're going to be fishing, and save you a lot of hang-ups and a lot of missed fish, for sure. So keep that in mind. That's one of the tips for tonight. And Herschel, we'll let you go back to the wide view, and we'll see if we get any callings. What do you got on your mind, Mike?
Y guard.
Oh, you want that Y guard back?
You want it back in this box? You do.
Yeah, I want it back in that box. I might need it one of these days.
All right.
Okay. Just wanted to point that out. You know, that comes back to pitching that dang brush hog or a worm or any kind of plastics, the beavers, that kind of stuff, Mike. You know, you want that bullet nose sinker, and so that's about you getting these pine tops down there on Watts Bar, and that's about the only thing you get in there without getting hung up.
I believe a bare line hang up in a pine top.
I swear I do too. You know, there's little old pine cones on there, about like the size of a floater, and dadgum, that thing will get hung up just as sure as the world. But when you get it clear and you pitch it in there, and when it hits the bottom, if it hits the bottom, one's got it. And he run through the back of that tree just as sure as the world. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to go on with this thing. I was talking to Bill Nichols earlier, and I'm going to tell you, the last 2 trips on Watts Bar, I've caught 2 pretty good fish. The day I had that film on, that was the day that Rick Whitson caught the muskie down there in the Big Emery on that. It was, you know, 2 or 3 pound fish, but I took a picture of it and we had it on film. Well, it had one of those eels on it, Mike.
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't a freshwater eel that we've seen all of our life.
Yeah.
In this river.
I hear you.
It had a funny shaped head, and when you turned that thing over, I mean, it like a suction cup that was full of little old teeth, razor sharp teeth, and I don't know what. And then caught another one down there Saturday, about a 3 pounder, and it had one stuck on it.
Yep.
And the minute you get that fish out of the water, it doesn't take that little old whatever that thing is just a minute to turn loose. You know, and it's squirming around the bottom of the boat, and this, that, and the other. I'm going to investigate that. I'm going to get to the biologist and see if they can tell me what that is.
Well, 3 years ago, Gunnersville, I caught one in Gunnersville that had one on it. And then last year, I caught a bass down in Chickamauga that had one on it. And now this year, I caught one up here that's got one on it. So I think they're migrating up through the water system.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, this thing's brown, snake-looking, but it's got a big old round head, and underneath the bottom of it, it's just got a suction cup underneath and got a lot of teeth. And I don't know what we call it, but I'm going to find out before next week.
Yep.
And Then also talking with Bill there, he was telling me that these zebra mussels
Yeah, zebra mussel, that's right.
is in North Lake, and you know, if you're leaving your boat sitting in the water up there, this gentleman, a friend of Bill's there, he took his motor out, and you know, those things had built all around the foot and had his water pickups clogged off, and about $400 worth of damage there to get the new water pump and get it all cleaned off and all that kind of stuff. So, and then you and I, we want to know why that fungus or this growth is on North Lake that we haven't seen up there in our lifetime.
No, never seen it before. And I think it's just holding this water up is just like these foreign ponds and stuff. It gets stagnated and letting this stuff grow. You see it in these ponds and stuff where the water level stays constant, and it just that old fungus grows in there, and it's just like an old green slime. And every time you throw out, you got it all over your bait.
Right.
And North is getting worse all the time for it, and there was a big patch down at Watch Bar in front of Eagle Lodge over there. I mean, it was so thick you couldn't even get through it with a trolling motor. It was so heavy and thick, and it was at least 3 to 4 feet off the bottom there. It was growing up like milfoil in a way, but it wasn't milfoil. So, you know,
Right.
I don't know where all this stuff come from either.
Well, I you know, that fungus or that growth that's on North Lake, when you get it on your bait,
They don't want to fish bite it.
they want to fish bite it.
No.
I'm telling you, and you just, it's that old green slimy stuff, and you know, you just pick it off and it just pulls off like thread.
Yeah.
And when you get it on your bait, you won't get a bite. That's just all there are to it. And you'll fish places up there that every cast.
Every cast, yeah.
And then you go to other places too, and it, you won't, you know, you don't have a problem with it.
Well, you remember for years when we fished up there, you worried about getting cuckleberries on you.
Yeah.
They'd stick to your pork rind.
Right.
You know. And now that they've started keeping the water up all the time through the summer, all that's died off.
Exactly right.
And now you're getting this fungus growing.
True.
Stagnating that water up there.
Well, hopefully somebody's calling in that can enlighten us on the situation. The eels and the fungus is what we're looking for. Let's see what we got here. Hello, caller.
Yeah, it's TED there. I thought I'd throw at you what you probably talking about, that eel-like deal is a lamprey.
I think that's exactly the name I was looking for.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of one of my wife's aunts. But,
Buddy, you're lucky to be alive, but go ahead.
yeah, I mean, you know, I stay as far away from her as I can. And they, now the bad thing is they have a pontoon boat up on Norris.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure the smell has already gone down into Melton Hill, where she's had her feet in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe
Anyway,
where
I
the
thought
fungus.
I'd throw that at you there.
a lamprey.
Right. It's yeah, it's a lamprey. It's Lamprey.
Right.
But yeah, they have a lot of them up north. I'm sure Mike Nichols can tell you about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
Mike Richards. Excuse me.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the name. I knew I'd heard that name and seen that thing, and they were actually they were calling them an invasive species up north. You know, had run some fishing up there, and I'm going to investigate that thing. But that was exactly the name I was looking for, And because I don't remember seeing these things in that lake years ago when I was a kid, you know.
It wasn't.
We've caught fish with them freshwater eels stuck to them, but they didn't look like these things I've seen here in the last few weeks.
They have a round mouth.
Yeah.
And just with teeth.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When
Those
you
jaws.
Yeah.
Brown looking.
Yeah, they're just a suction cup, like an or like a squid.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
But anyway, I thought I'd throw that at you there. I'm sure Mike Richards can explain that better than I could.
All right, man. I appreciate the call. What's your wife, sir?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see who we got here. Hello, caller.
Yeah, this is Ed Galt.
Yes, sir, Ed.
That fella's right about them things. That's a lamprey, and you need to really cause some trouble over there at TWRA because them things will ruin all these lakes.
That's you know, when I saw them for the first time, it was on TV.
Yeah.
And they were up north, and they were talking about there being an invasive species in that section of water or that river that they were fishing up there, and they showed them. And that kind of got me when I saw, like I said, I've seen 2 here in the last month on Watts Bar stuck to the fish.
Yeah.
And it kind of got me concerned, you know.
They're going to have to figure out something about that because they multiply worse than rats.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be millions of them in there before you know it.
Well, I'm going to make me a big note here to get with the biologist and let them tell us what's going on, what they know about it, and try to get some info.
All right. Hey.
Yes, sir.
Need to get you some motor oil worms. I've been catching 15 to 20 every time I go, Douglas and Norris.
Motor oil worms. Goodness gracious. I thought they quit making that,
Yeah,
Mike.
I ain't seen none in 20 years.
No, Jim's got them down there.
Well, you know, Jim's got stuff that you can't find anywhere else, so that doesn't surprise me.
All righty.
Hey, I appreciate you calling in, Ed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Bye-bye.
All right. Okay, that's a good fish report there on that.
Yeah.
Hello, caller.
Hello, Steve. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Mike, Richard, how you doing?
How you guys doing tonight?
Hey, buddy, we're doing all right. I don't know. You tell us, is Mike doing okay?
Well, I'm doing fine. You know what? We need to start calling TED from Powell.
Yeah.
Start calling him Lamprey.
Oh, okay. Well, that way we won't forget what this thing's called. Is that the deal?
That's right. That'd be a good new name for him.
Okay.
He won't tell you his real name anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't even know what the TED stands for. It's certainly not Ted. So we can just call him Lamprey, and
right.
that would suit him just fine.
All right.
You know what, though, Steve? In all the years that I did the show, every time I caught a fish with a lamprey on it was up in the clinch. And mainly, James Lay and I used to love to go into Poplar Creek wing, go all the way, all the way to where you could see Blair Road,
Yes, sir.
And every time we caught one with a lamprey on it, it seemed to be in that area. But I got a feeling it's more of a river thing than it is a down lake thing. Because all the years down here, I never caught one that had one on it. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not down here, but it seems to be more of a river thing,
Right.
But it's funny that you're saying that because, that's been like 10 years from now, and surely Tennessee Wildlife has got a hold on it, because if that caller's right about them multiplying like rabbits and can be millions of them before you know it, that could be a concern. But surely they've got a handle on that, But I hope you do get to talk with them about that, so we'll know something about it.
Well, I plan on getting with them there. I'll try to tomorrow.
Hey, but before the phone goes dead here, I've just got one bar left.
All right.
I wanted to apologize for something. I called you last week bragging about my cowling from the sign shop, and I went the whole time without telling you thanks a lot for my Let's Go Fishing shirt that I was wearing at the time. And I hung up the phone, and I said, you know, I've hung up this phone, and I didn't even thank him for the Let's Go Fishing shirt. So I want to tell you thanks, and I apologize for waiting a week to tell you that.
Buddy, don't worry about that at all. You're more than welcome. While I got you on the phone, I'll tell the viewers also, our fishing trip for the winners for Will and Corey is supposed to take place this weekend, this coming week, not this Saturday, but the 7th, June the 7th. That's when they're free, and so we're going. Will's got his baseball club is getting together this weekend, and so we're actually right now the fishing trip's set for the 7th of next month, 7th of June, and we've got big plans. So we'll see how that turns out.
Well, I look forward to seeing the film on that, and they backed you into a corner there. Wanting to catfish, and that's the forte, and I can't wait to see how that turns out.
Well, I'm going to try my best to get him. I hope I can get one that weighs 50 pounds, but I'm going to try.
See, you thought you want to get out there and show them how to catch bass and everything, and now here you've got to come up with some good catfish.
Yeah,
good luck with that.
Well, I appreciate it, but I'm going to try my best, and we may have to jug fish for all I know.
That's a whole different world, you know?
Yes, that's right. But he's wanting to catch a catfish, so we're going to try our best to catch one.
A good segment tonight on those jigs. You know, I'm a 6-pound test fisherman, and I don't fish tournaments anymore. And I came up with that clear tubular, you know, the clear plastic tube on my hair jigs.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have to worry about losing one, you know, because I'm not going to be weighing it in anywhere. You know, I don't tournament fish anymore.
Yeah.
And I lose my share of smallmouth doing that. But I'm never aggravated with having to retie a fly on and getting hung up.
Right.
Fishing that 6-pound test line. So it keeps me just great no matter what I'm throwing it in. But I do lose fish on it from time to time. But like I say, now that I don't tournament fish, that's just not a big thing with me.
I heard
Guys,
that.
good show. Appreciate you doing it. Can't wait to see what you come up with next week.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
All right, buddy. Hello, caller.
Hey, if you're gonna send anybody catfishing, send them with Mike. That's the only that'll get you every catfish in the lake right there. Send them with Mike.
You think Mike's a catfisherman then?
Yeah, he is.
Okay. What makes you think that?
Well, I know me and him fight over who's a catfish man, but he's caught a lot of them.
All right, I'll think about that and see what we can do. We might have to get him in the boat there and let me get in his boat and do the filming.
Yeah, that's what I think you need to do.
Okay, we'll see how that works out. See you later. Bye, buddy.
Bye.
All right. Have you? That's it. That's it. Yes, sir. You've got it nailed, Herschel. I tell you have, without a doubt. Okay, folks, show that one more time. The single picture. Come back. Yep, right there. Now, right there is what's sticking on them fish down there, Mike.
I don't know how long they stay on there. They stay on there till the fish dies, or just till they get full, you know, like a tick or something, till they swell up and bust, or
I don't know. The two fish that had them on it, when they came off, after we got the fish in the boat, and it didn't take but a minute or two, and that thing turned loose because I think it realized it was out of its habitat, and the sore was on the fish.
Yeah,
you know. So, Herschel, buddy, you've done magnificent. All right, hello, caller.
Hey, Steve, this is Rodney Jennings. It was good seeing you up there Sunday night on Norris. How'd y'all do?
Rodney, we got some film, but we haven't showed it, and we're going. I guess we better save it till next week because I mean you never know about Mike. Listen, we caught some fish. How did you all do?
We did really well. We ran up towards up above Bear Hole Bend, Lost Creek area, peanut jig.
Uh-huh.
But I think the biggest one was 18 3/4.
Right. Well, we got on. We started out slow, but then we got on fire, and then that kind of haze moved in, and the fish seemed to quit. And basically, what it was, we kind of swapped colors. You know, we were throwing a watermelon without any orange on it, and we throwing a hair jig without any orange, and then we just kind of started. When it fogged up or hazed up there, we just kind of tipped that chunk with a little bit of orange, or put orange something with a little orange on it in the plastic line, and man, they just started eating it up.
Huh.
So
we did well right out of the gate, and then as the night went on, it slowed down for us. But I was too lazy to switch colors, and that might have been no problem.
I know the feeling. I just kept trying to force feed them, and what we started with, and Mike called us there about 2 o'clock and said, "Hey, is doing any good?" And we said, "Well, we haven't here in the last little bit." And he put us on what they were catching them on. They were catching them, and then when we left him, we ran down the lake there and got up with him, and he showed us what he was using, and so we started doing some changing, and dang, they didn't do any good, and we went down there and caught, you know, I don't know, I caught 15, I guess, off of 1 point down there. Yeah. So it was just, you know, and it could have been the location, Rodney, or what, you know, but that little bit of color change that we were doing sure picked us up there after 2 o'clock Monday morning.
Hey, while you're on the air there, has anybody got any reports on Milton Hill?
I haven't been able to get over to Jim's. I always like to go over there because you get those guys that fish Milton Hill a lot, and you always crappie fishermen and bass fishermen both coming in and out of there all the time. So, you know, I haven't heard anything this week.
Well, all right. Well, I'll jump off of here and watch the rest of the show and listen to you guys some more. Look forward to seeing that film next week.
All right. That sounds good, man. I tell you, my plan was to try to make it to Milton Hill Monday night and catch their weigh-in over there and see what was going on.
Well, me and one of my partners, we're going to fish that Heartland series that gets started up out there Saturday night. So,
okay.
I don't know if I'm programmed in your cell phone there or not. I'll let you know how it goes or give me a call or whatnot. And we'll see how that goes.
Okay, that sounds good. I'll try to get up with you and before next week's show and get some info.
All right, buddy. Y'all have a good one.
Okay, man. I'll look for you Saturday night. Well, you ain't going to be up there. I'll be up there.
No, I'm going to be on Milton Hill.
All right. Good luck to you.
All right, thanks.
See you, buddy. Okay, folks, that's about all Mike can do for us tonight.
Yeah.
God bless you. Have a good week, and we'll see you next week.